So you probably heard in that pull there was a bit of time and pull at the top end of the RPM, and that's usually down to the fueling. Again, like I said, 1 second. How's it going, bro? You right? Yeah, I'm just in the middle of a vlog at the minute. 10 years today. I didn't even know. I think we're gonna have to make a new video because 10-year anniversary for NVM today. So you probably heard from that phone call there. Today is our 10-year anniversary for NV Motorsport. So you probably know a bit of the history of the last couple of years, and you've probably seen our vlogs, but I want to take you back to where we began, how we evolved, and where we are today. So just standing in front of one of my first ever units. This was actually before NV Motorsport actually existed as a business, and it was one of the biggest lessons I learned. I mean, we jumped to this unit, me and my brother, and tried to understand the actual trade itself, take it over from the previous owners, and we learned so many things from all the mistakes that we made here. And after this, I actually left the whole self-employment kind of entrepreneurship, and I went straight into work. It's mad to think it's been 10 years since the formation of NV Motorsport. A lot of you guys have known us for the last couple of years, but I want to take you back. I want to take you back to where it started, and it actually started at secondary school, believe it or not. So that's where we're heading to now. So part of this vlog is literally telling you the journey that I've been on. I brought you back to my secondary school, and the reason for that is because I think secondary school played the biggest part in my journey to NV Motorsport and to where I am today. And in them times, I was actually conjuring up a plan in my own head as to how I can create a business called NV Motorsport. So in my art lessons, I was drawing logos. I was, drawing cars with body kits on there, and it was all part of the passion. So, 14, 15 years old, I already knew what I wanted to do with my life. I just didn't know how to do it. I just knew that I wanted it. And I think that's what made me who I am today. Obviously, we had the stress and strains of school. We come from a working class, family, and I had 6 brothers and 2 sisters, and it was tough because anytime I got in trouble, I had my brothers come down on me one by one, and it was like, it was a firing range. So yeah, school was tough. There was fights, there was bullying, there was all the normal stress and strains of school. And deep down, all I wanted to do was create a tuning company. This day and age, I still use GCSE maths in mapping, believe it or not. I still use my computing skills for networking and programming the vehicles, and I think it's so important that you understand this at this age, let alone later. At lunchtime, the dinner bell will ring, everyone will run to the football pitch. I was never into football like that. Yeah, I play football, yeah, I enjoy watching it and being a part of a team as such, but generally speaking, while everyone else was playing football, I was on the computers. I was trying to research what I could to make the best out of what I wanted. And those are the Max Power days, guys. So, we were going through magazines and we were building our own virtual cars, we were drawing them out. And I think that kind of, gave me the energy to pursue it further. Obviously, every school has its highs and lows. Coming from a working class background, we never had nothing we didn't need, but there were so many things I wanted. So, on the side, we used to kind of buy and sell sweets. We used to buy and sell, the latest gadgets, lighters, Tamagotchis, yo-yos, the biggest scenes of, the 90s. We used to purchase them and sell them in class. I know you're not meant to do that at school, by the way, guys, but generally that's what we did to make a bit more money and a bit more pocket money, more than anything. And that further went on. When I went to college and stuff and uni, I was still doing things to kind of make a bit of extra cash at the weekend. And, that's how it always was for me. So this is the area I grew up in. It's mad because this is, our local high street, and there's so many different types of people within this high street. It's crazy. And we still support the businesses here. We still have takeaway here. We still buy our groceries from here. And it's so important to kind of give back to the community that you come from. You can easily go down the wrong path on one of these roads, and it is a way of life. But generally speaking, I'm glad I was brought up here because it taught me how to be streetwise. It taught me how to be community orientated, and also, every time we bought a new car, I used to drive up and down here. If you knew someone's bought a new car, I used to drive up and down here, just pop, pop, bang. Yeah, I think education is so key, and I think having parents and a family that were backing it and pushing me in the right direction just made me who I am today. My father was a teacher, and believe it or not, he was the best teacher I ever had because he taught me everything up until the age of 16, where sadly he passed away. I mean, he was my rocker. I used to go to him for everything, like any last question, any last issue I had in life, you know, even when it came down to, you know, stuff that was going on in the community or with friends and whatever, I used to go to him, and, you know, he always had an answer for something. But yeah, he passed away when I was 16 years old, and I was still at college. So imagine being at college, kind of focused and determined on what you want to do, and then all of a sudden, you know, the person that, you know, showed you that path and focus kind of left, and it, you know, it was difficult times. You know, mentally I was in a different place. Like I'd say for about 2 or 3 years, you know, I didn't recover from that. It was a mad time in my life. You know, I went through uni I went through college just about. I was still earning money. I was still, you know, buying and selling phones. I was unlocking phones. I was selling accessories, trying to get by and get. So starting up the business was no easy task. It didn't come overnight. I mean, I spent years in other jobs, you know, working for Tesco, Sainsbury's, picking and packing, even working security and as a waiter, just to kind of earn enough to pay the bills. Eventually, I kind of knew that I wanted to be around cars, because I was fixing cars, tuning cars on my driveway, and it was just so that I could make ends meet. But I knew my passion was there, and that's what led me over into working for one of the world's largest motor manufacturers, and I acquired some skills there which I kind of use today, which helps me do what I do. And I bought a little Astra van. I used to go from garage to garage, and I used to offer my expertise, because by then I had, you know, 5 or 6 years of experience in diagnostics, programming and stuff like that. So a lot of the local garages where I lived struggled on the more advanced stuff, so I kind of offered them support and help where I could. I took the plunge into getting our first unit, which was this one, Unit 1. As some of you early followers would know, this was the first NV Motorsport Limited location, and we did, you know, 1 car at a time. There was only 1 ramp space in there, and even then it was just an empty shell. We kind of had to fit it out. We had to get, you know, all the equipment and tools, and I had a little toolbox back then. But I was here for a couple of years until I realized that I needed more space and I needed to expand. It's crazy because we're in this unit. The last time we came to this unit was about 7 years ago, and it's still got the remnants of our sticker on the shutter, which is pretty cool. So obviously 600 square feet wasn't going to cut it, because we had customers kind of piling at the door, and it was, you know, we're struggling for space. Birmingham is known for industrial parks, but finding the right vision, the right environment, the security was kind of the biggest problem that we had. One great thing about this unit was there was a food shop right next door, so no one ever worked hungry, so we always had food on our doorstep, and we kind of, you know, worked our way through the day, through the night as much as we could. But yeah, we thoroughly enjoyed building the business here, and we had to move on. When it comes to looking at units before, I was always about, you know, what can I get within the budget that we can afford, basically, until I started looking at it as a business. And, you know, I thought to myself, well, you know, these massive franchises, for example, like KFC, Burger King, or even McDonald's, they spend millions of pounds kind of figuring out the most busiest areas for vehicles, for their drive-through, footfall, for eating, and, you know, people's trends. So I thought to myself, you know, I'm going to find a unit next to a McDonald's. That's exactly what I did. I found as many units as I could next to a McDonald's franchise, and I knew I'd done half the work already for, you know, accessibility and footfall. So this is our current headquarters, 3,500 square feet, as said before, 2 workshop ramps and ample space. And the reason for this is because we employed the online shop, and the online shop has its own section upstairs with an office and parts section. And obviously I've got my own little office at the back. I say own little office, but the last 2 workshops I was at, there was no office. Like, we had laptops leaning on oil drums, and, you know, toolboxes hanging out everywhere. So this kind of was the first fit out that we did. So grateful to do what I do in the space that I have. I remember back in the day, we didn't even have a toilet in our unit, let alone have a toilet with an office and a reception. Do you know what I mean? So for us, we've seen the evolution of the business, and we've also seen the evolution of advertising. I remember back in the day, we used to jump in our car at the weekend in the middle of the night, kind of anti-lagging, popping, banging, racing, just to get the customer base. And now all of that is on social media. So you guys are watching this video, it's in our effort to kind of get you guys to watch what we do and how we do things. So as you guys are probably aware, NV Motorsport isn't alone. We do have 2 other companies, NVM Engineered and NV Forged. NVM Engineered obviously covers a lot of the engineered products, CNC products, custom bespoke parts and turbochargers, etc. Stuff like this, intercoolers, intakes, and all of that fall under that umbrella. So the ability to design and manufacture any part for any vehicle. So whether it be a brake kit and we need adapters for it, or whether it means a full intake system that's tried and tested. We've got 3D printers in-house so we can kind of prototype them and stick them on the vehicle. And that side of the business will be evolving quite dramatically as we increase the range of parts that we do for the vehicles. So Envy Forge has been a dream of mine since I was 14 years old. One of the first things I did in art lesson was design a wheel, and to be able to do that now is absolutely amazing. Envy Forge itself is a lightweight, bespoke forge wheel program, so you can have any wheel, any size, any offset, and we'll make them to suit for your vehicle. Obviously the fit and finish is absolutely amazing. We can do them hand brushed, clear lacquered, gold lacquered, satin, gloss, however it needs to be for your vehicle. And it does give you that ability to be unique out there in a world full of sheep. Obviously we can't neglect the dyno. We've kind of covered it in most of our vlogs on our YouTube channel, and typically speaking it is the most accurate you can buy today. The reason why we chose this dyno is because we can tune any vehicle up to 1200 horsepower with ease, with back-to-back repeatability, with good fan circulation and extraction too. And I think this dyno, in comparison to others, we'll cover in another vlog, but generally speaking, this is our tool. This is what we do to research, develop and tune your vehicle. So obviously you need all of them ingredients to build a fast car, but there's no point in having all of them ingredients without a good chef. I've been tuning vehicles for over 16 years now. I use OEM tools, and this is what I do best. This is what I do on a daily basis, OEM calibration. We don't buy any files, we don't use any off-the-shelf elements. I tune every vehicle as if it was my own from start to finish. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Hope you now understand a bit more about Envy Motorsport, where we come from and where we are today. We are going to do a couple of more videos to show you a day in the life and what else we get up to here. So stay tuned for part 2.